Hello, everyone. This is Lynan Saperstein, your luxury travel and tourism marketing consultant and the creator of the Trailblazers Retreat. And I am beyond excited to be sharing all of this amazingness with you guys today. This whole month, being able to share all of the wisdom that I've learned from both hosting the Trailblazers Retreat for the past 4 years and supporting other people in creating their dream transformational live events has been such a gift. And so being able to share all this content with you guys is such a treat for me, and I could not be more grateful for all of you guys. So thank you for showing up, and thank you if you were listening to this recording in advance. This is the first step in creating an amazing transformational experience for your tribe or for whomever it is that you want to start serving. Some of you are in the Experience Creators Facebook group, which is going to become our go-to community and really a place for us to all share our visions, our dreams, the process of finding our ideal attendees, finding our venue, finding all of the details that put together and become your transformational live event. And we'll go into all the details of that in the next 90 minutes. I want to share a little bit about why I'm so passionate about sharing this stuff with you guys and hopefully light a little bit more of the fuse or the fire that's within you for creating. So I love experience. I used to live in New York City. I lived there for almost 10 years, and I definitely was in that consumer cycle where I was buying a lot of stuff, right? I wanted to buy the great handbag. I wanted to have the great apartment with all the cute furniture. And I had a lot of stuff in my life, physical stuff. And I had a eureka moment when I went to India while I was living in New York. I went on one of my work vacations, one of my 2-week short vacations from my 9-to-5 job to India. And I really discovered how powerful experience was to create, any form of transformation in someone's life. So they could discover who they are. I'm going to mute you guys up. And discover who they are, what they're about, what their purpose is, and why they're here. And so for me, experience is the most valuable currency that we have on this planet. It's beyond money. So really, when any of you are like, oh no, can I make money? How much do I charge? What I'm going to start with telling you is that experience is the most valuable currency you can give another human being. You can give them a memory that lasts a lifetime in their mind. You can give them friendships. You can give them moments in time that they were feeling their best, feeling their most, whatever it is, physically fit, most enlightened, most athletic, most creative, whatever type of retreat you're going to create, you're going to be able to give them that value. And so really, this is where I light up. I get so passionate. I get so excited because I know, and I've seen the trends, people are leaning toward experience versus stuff, versus books, versus online programs, versus anything behind the computer. They want to get out from behind the computer and they want to meet you in person. They want to meet their like-minded friends, this like-minded community and tribe, and meet them in person. So this is why experience is so important to me, and why I want to just emphasize to you guys that it should be so important to you guys, and just to emphasize that what you're creating, what you're visioning is important, and it is needed in the marketplace. So some of you guys know what I do. Just in case you don't, I'm going to talk about myself just for a quick second, I promise. My experience is in marketing. I love marketing and branding. I often joke that it's my love language, and I predominantly work in the travel, tourism, and hospitality arena now. And it's because of this passion for experience. It's also because of my personal passion for travel and seeing the world and experiencing different cultures, flavors, and people that are out there for us to devour and to soak into our life existence. I'm also the creator of the Trailblazers Retreat, and that is an entrepreneur immersion experience that's 7 days, and we've been hosting them since 2013, and we've had them in Croatia, Costa Rica, and also all over California. And it's been such a gift and such a privilege to get to spend time creating transformational weeks for entrepreneurs, the people who are most challenged with finding that time to get away so they can go within and reflect. And so that's really my experience. And throughout our training today, I'm going to be using some of my clients as examples, as real case studies of how this marketing, how these steps in the DIRT method really work and will really help you get started and get moving in planning your live event and actually to make it happen. This is not just shelf help kind of training. This is the kind of training I want you to listen to multiple times. I want you taking notes. I want you really active. And we have the chat section. So if a question pops in your mind, just pop it in there. I will hopefully get to read it and be able to infuse your questions back into the training. So please know that this is an interactive training. Again, even if you're listening to the recording, we have the Facebook group for that reason. Even if you're listening to maybe the second half later, pop into the Facebook group, share your comments, share your questions, share any reflections, share any aha, eureka, breakthrough moments. I want really for you to know that this is a safe space for you to share, and also so we can cultivate it, so plant those seeds. Retreat Elite is really a community that I'm building for people who are passionate about creating retreats and want to do it the right way. There's a lot of people starting to host retreats now. And as some of you are seeing, and I'm hearing a lot more of it because I'm on sort of the consultant end, is people putting together events and having to cancel them because attendance is low, because they can't afford to put down the deposit for whatever, and events are getting canceled. And this breaks my heart. So really, the reason we're using this word elite, we are going to be at the forefront, really creating these powerful, really high tier, high quality, high content experiences. And that is really why I'm using this word. And I really want you to all step into that today, that you are the retreat elite. You're creating elite experiences around the world to transform people's lives. So let's break it down. Let's get into the DIRT method. I'm so excited to share this with you guys. I'm inviting you to get dirty, get your hands dirty, get your experience dirty, and start planning this live event. I know many of you who are in the community, just from what I've seen in the Facebook group, are just at the beginning stages, or maybe a few steps in. So you'll see how far in you are into DIRT. But even if this is your 5th retreat or your 50th retreat or 50th set departure live event adventure, I really want you to pay attention to these steps, because this is something I'm extremely passionate about, and this is what I work with my high-end consulting clients on, is creating a formula for launching that you can do again and again and again, and that it's a no-brainer. Basically, it's step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. Start again, do it again, do it again. And you do that every year or every season that you're launching a different retreat or a different live event, or even if you have workshops or tour dates, which I'll talk about a little bit, leading up to a more full immersion retreat event. You can use the DIRT method for all of those and use it again and again. And really, the purpose of sharing this with you guys is to help you get started in your planning whatever type of live experience that you're dreaming up, okay? So let's dig in. There we go. So the first thing we want to do is get dirty, like I said. And so the first step in that for me is a lot of releasing. And I really picked up on this from some of the free trainings that we've been doing, but really digging into what people are holding onto and what is getting in the way. What is your obstacle to having what you want? So what I'm going to invite all of you to pay attention to, and if you have a notebook in front of you right now, What do you have to let go of in order to have what you want, in order to be able to create that dream event, to hold the space for the people that are coming, to be the epic host that you know you are, to facilitate whatever kind of amazing transformational journey it is that you want to provide. And these are just some of the ones that often come up. You have to let go of fear. You have to let go of being scared and being afraid of anything, being afraid of being turned down, being embarrassed, of failing, whatever type of fears that are coming in, you have to leave them to the side. You're going to have to let go of doubts, right? Can I do it? Am I ready? Oh my gosh, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. All those I don't knows, and really not believing in yourself. We're going to have to drop those because they're not going to serve you where you're going. I've said this before. I'm going to say it again. The number one thing that happens while you're creating a live event, while you're creating a retreat, is you're going through the first steps of the transformational journey before your attendees do. So you're doing the deep dive work first, and you're going to be going through it through the whole process. So I'm really inviting you guys to pay attention to any kind of doubts or fears you have right now and write them down, because we're going to drop them. We're going to leave them aside. And any of you thinking, am I ready? Is this the right time? Can I do it? Any of those kind of fears, we're going to drop those too. We're just going to acknowledge them, right? Because they're not wrong or bad. They're just there, and they're not going to serve you where you're going, and they're not going to serve you when you're getting dirty and you're really starting to plan this event and make it really come into reality. Any form of uncertainty, anything in you that just doesn't believe that you can do it, we're going to drop it. We're going to drop it. And any kind of questioning that you have in your mind right now, can I do it? Who will attend? Where will it be? How much will they pay? Any of those kind of questions that maybe paralyze you. If you are one of those sort of analysis paralysis people, right? You go into your headspace and you think and think and think. And because you think so much, you get nothing done. If you're one of those people, I'm also going to invite you to get, deep dive, dig into this stuff, feel it, allow it to be there, but also allow yourself to let go. Allow yourself to release. Allow yourself to say, I don't want to take this where I'm going. I am the first example of the transformation for this event that I'm creating. For whatever kind of amazing, juicy results and benefits you see at the end of the rainbow of your event, you're the one who's going to experience them first. So this is the first part of getting dirty. It's really, what are you going to let go of so you can have what you want? So you can create that epic, epic event that's going to transform lives and leave unforgettable memories in people's imaginations and minds forever, that they're going to talk about and tell their friends about and tell their family about. These are the kind of events I want you creating. And the first thing you need to do is you need to face yourself. Okay? And again, this is a safe space for you to do this. I only address it first because these are often the first types of fears that come up when people work with me on VIP days. And I've seen it happen so many times with my clients because they're just like, is it possible? And what I'm going to tell you right now is, yes, it is. You can do it. You are ready. We will go into figuring out who will attend and where it will be and all of those delicious, juicy logistics. And I promise it's going to be super fun. It's going to be super exciting, and you're going to have a blast doing it. If you haven't already, make sure you get access to the release and attraction meditation that I recorded. There was a link to it if you signed up on the training page. Make sure you click on that meditation, you download it, you put it on your phone, you put it on your computer. You can listen to it every day. You can listen to it twice a day, but every day you're going to have weird little pop-up of blocks and obstacles and challenges that come up. and you're going to have to let them go. You're going to have to release them and make space for what's coming in and what you're attracting, whether it's the money, the financial piece, the abundance, or it's the exact attendees and the people that you're trying to attract, those like-minded folks who really are looking for your transformational experience. Or maybe you're trying to find the venue, maybe you're trying to find a co-creator or collaborator. Whatever you're trying to attract in, this meditation is going to help you dig into that. You're going to be releasing on a regular basis, and you're going to be attracting. And when you release, right, there's a big space that's there, and nature and the universe abhors a vacuum. So you're going to fill it with whatever it is that you're specifically attracting. So make sure you get access to that meditation. And if you have any trouble downloading it or getting access to it, make sure you pop into the Facebook group or you pop on the chat here and let me know, and I will help you get access, okay? So that's the first step. This is always the first step. And if you ever find that you're not working or not doing something or not excited to do something about your event, go back into this first step, this first part of getting dirty. What do you have to let go of to have what you want? And ask yourself that question and really dig in. So now let's go into D. This is the real start of the planning process. And the first thing you need to do is decide. And I say decide because we're really creating your mindset. Your mindset in being a host, being a leader, being a creator and a curator for this type of experience, whatever it includes, whether it's fitness or nutrition or writing or dance or whatever type of dream experience it is you're creating, you decide right now. You are going to set the tone for how everything goes from this moment forward. And when you decide, yes, I'm going to host a retreat. Yes, I'm going to be a retreat elite and I'm going to do this right. Your mindset determines your success. And if you are in this positive, high vibe, super focused, super plugged in mindset, you will be successful. You will have a sold out event. You will do everything you need to do to have that amazing, powerful event. And you don't have to have any worries. And when I say decide, I'm really asking, are you committed? Are you committed 100%, maybe more than 100%, 150% to this event? And if the answer is no, you may need to go back to the drawing board and look back at the event and reshape it or realign it back to you. And I only say this because this has happened to me. And it's happened when I worked with one of my other clients. They were hosting a yoga teachers retreat to teach other teachers how to market their retreats. And I was helping them. And they just didn't have their heart in it. And really that decision piece was hindering all the other parts of DIRT. We weren't able to attract, we weren't able to research, we weren't able to test. And so really we lost people and we really just needed to redirect energy to an event that was more aligned with them. And the one thing I'll tell you about D and the deciding piece is that this is an ongoing commitment to your vision. If you listen to our previous call, and you're going to also use the meditation, you're going to really create this masterpiece of a vision of what your retreat looks like. And once you have that vision, you can always come back to it. It's like a touchstone. And you're constantly deciding and recommitting to that vision and to making it happen and to believing it. And I'm just going to tell you a quick anecdotal story. But when I first founded or created the Trailblazers retreat, I was in a massive amount of uncertainty. I didn't know who was going to buy. I didn't know who was going to come, but I was really committed to the vision. I knew that I'd felt isolated while I was traveling. I knew that I was looking for friends. I was also looking for an opportunity to support my entrepreneur friends in creating a space for themselves to go away so they could go within. And I don't even know how many times a day I would picture this vision. But it was literally the guiding force to having that sold out, successful first retreat. And you're going to really have to recommit on a daily basis. And if your attendance is low, if your finances are tight, if you're wavering, you got to recommit to the vision. So you're going to always come back to the D. You're always going to come back to the decision to say, I am going to be a host of this event. I am going to have the most epic event. I'm going to have 20 people at this event. I'm going to have 5 people at this event. I'm going to host this in this other country. I'm going to host it at this retreat center, in this villa. I'm going to host this set departure with this amazing experience, water repelling, yoga dance, whatever it is that you're going to have, you're committing to that vision and you're standing in your strength, standing in your power that this is going to happen. And like I said, your mindset determines your success and you're the only one that controls that. So you just got to keep tapping right back in to your mindset and keep reminding yourself or asking yourself that question, am I committed? And then getting that full body, hell yes, and keep going forward. All right, so now we're going to dig into the I. Oops, went too fast. We're going into the ideas. And this is really going into not only your vision, because the vision can sometimes be a little bit more general, and that's all right. But when we have to dig into the details, the specifics, the logistics of your vision, this is an exciting opportunity for you with ideas. And I purposely didn't ask a ton of questions on ideas because there's so many aspects to ideas. And, first it's your vision. What is the general sort of outline of your vision of the retreat? And then who is the ideal attendee? Who is the person who attends? And, I want you to get as specific as possible. Anybody who's ever done any kind of client avatar exercise, whether it's with me or with another type of program or coach, they know you want to get in their shoes. Who are they? How do they think? Where do they hang out? Male, female, age group, financial demographic, where in the world they live. Do they have a partner? What kind of friends do they have? Really, so you can speak to them, so you can create for them, and you can really dig into how you're going to get the very best results and benefits for them. And this is the secret, getting into who they are and then creating all the ideas from there. And the ideas are then, what is the experience itself? What are the workshops? What are the activities? Where is there flexibility and free time? Where is there more structure and rigidity? Where do you have to really create and hold the structure of the transformation for them? And so this is when the ideal attendee really dictates a lot of the experience, even the location or the venue that you use. And I love these two because the vision and the ideal attendee really set the tone for every other aspect, every other idea that you could have. I have a new client, Stephanie Giroux at Pink Pigeon Retreats, and she's so excited about these amazing goodie bags that are going to come for all her retreat attendees. And she even knows all the things that are going to go in it and how cute it is and how amazing it is. And so that came from her ideas and her visions. And then I've seen other people who, it depends on the type of personality you have, but what kind of logistics you're going to be focusing in on. Maybe it's really important for you that all of your people have single rooms and the beds are super comfy and that there's always sunlight coming through, or they can hear the ocean where they are. These kind of ideas are going to flow in, whether it's in meditation or just when you're letting your imagination go wild and you're creating a vision. And from the vision, again, this is where something is not just a vision, which is like something sort of amorphous and not real. An idea is something you can write down, something that you can do with our R, which is research it, and then with our T, that you can test it. So an idea is something that you can touch, something that is tactile, that is real, and that you can make actually happen. And this is why I say this, because a lot of people are a lot of talk with live events, and they say they're going to do all these things, and then it never happens. I don't like anybody who is attached to me or learns from me or is in my community to be one of those people who's all talk. Anybody who's on here has the potential, and by the end of this call, will have all the tools to make this a full reality, to make your vision come true. And anybody who knows me knows for the first 2 days of the very first Trailblazers retreat, I was in shock. And I was in shock because I kept saying, if you build it, they will come. I did it. Oh my gosh, it was real. And it was literally watching my vision. Then all of the ideas that came from the vision come to pass, to be in my reality. This gorgeous retreat center in Costa Rica on the ocean. We had sunrise meditation. I got people to wake up at 5 a.m. and meditate on the beach with me because they are the most magnificent sunrises in the world. And I had people coming into my fire circles. I had people doing tribal dance. I had people doing powerful, deep, emotional yoga to release, emotional blocks that have been trapped in their body. So I really watched my vision come to life. So when you make your ideas, when you take your vision and let it branch off into all of the ideas that flesh out the experience, I want you to think of ideas that can actually be real. And mind you, they can be a stretch. But I want you to make things that can be really grounded and become actual things. Some other things you can do with ideas is, if you want to have any kind of, like I said, goodie bags, grab bags, any kind of collaborators, co-creators, or assistant teachers, any of those people, bring that into your idea bank. If you even into the idea bank can come some of the pieces for the launch. How am I going to get people interested in coming to this event? How am I going to get them to trust me? How am I going to get them to know me and know about my event? Some of these ideas will show up. Maybe it's teaching a class or a workshop or an online webinar, just like this one. Any of that stuff might also come into your memory and into your imagination when you're coming up with ideas. Even supporters, people that can support your vision, promote your vision, maybe people with big lists, email lists where they can share it. Maybe you can invite somebody who you look up to, an author or a speaker, to come and speak. Even if they say no, maybe they'll come to your second one. Maybe they'll come to your third one. Just building those types of connections that really are the roots that fortify the tree that becomes your retreat, but also all of the branches that are going to go reach out to all of your attendees and pull them all in and call them all into this experience. So really let your imagination go wild in ideas and dream a little bit, and then take those dreams and ground them and figure out the physical, actual things that you want to put into pass or test or research to see if they're going to be viable as part of your big retreat planning vision. So hopefully ideas is clear. It's very open. I just want to say that, you can be creative, you can explore, you can really, the sky is the limit with ideas. Anything and everything that you want to include, you can, even if it's something crazy, include it in, because then you can test it and research it and see if it's possible. So let's go into R. R is my favorite. I know it's not everybody's favorite, but I promise you can have fun with it. Research is really your secret weapon. It's really going to tell you yes or no. Is this going to work? And so really, research is sort of the opposite of a lot of that specific mindset stuff we talked about at the beginning. That fear and doubt and uncertainty can really be balanced out or even squashed completely by research. And if you listen to our previous training calls, we did talk briefly about surveys and interviews, but I want to sort of dig into those two a little more in depth now on this training. So I love surveys and I love interviews because you can really put a face to the vision or a face to the idea of who the ideal attendee is. And it's so easy to do. People think this is hard, like I said, but it's super simple. So to create a survey, you go on SurveyMonkey, you go on Google Forms, you go on Typeform, and you just put in a few questions and you share it around to your networks. Super easy. And you also are planting a seed of interest and intrigue because people want to know what you're creating. And so what you can do is put at the end, or you can do a follow-up email and say, hey, I'd love to touch base with you or keep you updated on what I create from these survey questions. Would you like to stay in the loop? And a lot of people will say yes, because you're not technically selling to them yet. But they know that they've offered input and they've offered valuable input. And they know that their opinions and what they value and what they like is being integrated into whatever you're creating as your experience. And so they really feel connected to what you've created. And I love that piece, because then you're not like the person in a dark room with the door shut and the window shut creating on your own, which I don't ever recommend. The I part is great. It's great to have an imagination and create this crazy vision of the retreat. And even if you're creating it for someone like you or someone who was you in the past, you have to validate the idea. We talk about this in entrepreneurship a lot, and some people who host events are not as familiar with it, but you have to validate the idea. You have to make sure that the idea is real, that you came up with, that people actually agree with it. And so with surveys, it's really easy to do that. Interviews is a little more in depth. So you're going to actually meet someone in person or hop on Skype or the phone with them. Ideally, you're going to record it. You're going to ask those same questions, but you kind of have the space for them to elaborate. And if you record it, you can take direct things they've said and you can turn it into copy or content or text that you use. It can also inspire visuals and other things that we'll be talking about later in the training. But you also can get so inspired by these type of interviews because they're really going to tell you what they want and what they need, and it will inspire more ideas. So you're going to go back to the ideas part after interviews and surveys and reevaluate and maybe put more into one section and remove less. But you're really going to let them influence your creative process and your creation process. And seriously, if you don't survey an interview, you're doing yourself a disservice. Often people who don't survey an interview and either have low attendance rates or have to cancel the event, I'm not surprised. And I tell people this, you have to do these 2 steps, one or both. Both is better, really so much more powerful and potent because you've done the research. Some other ways to do research, social media teasers, especially if you're somebody who has a lot of following or you know somebody with a huge following. Hey, would you like to go to an event like this? Describe it. Even I've seen people who have sort of video or audio visual skills do sort of a teaser video and say, you know, coming soon to Hawaii, and they show like a sunrise and some snorkeling and some yoga. You know, picture yourself on this beach. And then that leads directly to the interest page. Don't wait till later, you know, put up an interest page. It's super easy to do. Nowadays, we have so many softwares like Squarespace and Wix and Weebly and stuff where you can put up, you know, even some other ones. If you're really versed in WordPress, you can do something even faster. But a page just to share, again, like a teaser video, a teaser paragraph, some teaser photos, and just say, put in your email to stay updated about this event. And this is a great page to send people to after surveys or interviews. So you can really just plug them right into, and then you can follow up with them, right? This is the first step of capturing leads, and that's what's here in research as well. So when you start talking about your vision, which is really what you should be doing after the idea process, after you've really started to cultivate this idea of what the retreat looks like, and you talk about it, people will be interested. People will tell you that. People will want to stay posted. Make sure you have a list. It's really as simple as creating a little Excel sheet with people's names, their email, their phone number, whatever way you can contact them, and when you talk to them. And that way you can follow up. And then really specifically, you know, sending people to an interest page. Again, they have to do that one step of putting in their email. And if they do that, you know that they're probably interested. And doing a follow-up with them is going to be successful. So these are ways that we can do research. This does not include all types of research. There's other ways you can research. You can look at competition. And again, I put competition in quotations always because I don't technically believe in competition. The only person you're competing against is yourself. The only retreat you're competing against is your own. But it's good to know your marketplace. It's just being informed, you know, creator, and seeing what else is out there, you know, for either for your destination or for the type of experience you're creating. And you can see what you like and don't like just by looking at others. Other types of research you can do is when you're trying to figure out sort of some of the more logistical pieces of your retreat. You may be looking at other tour companies and how they're doing it. Or even doing research of actual venues, doing research of destinations, you know, what airlines fly here? About how much are the flights to here if you're doing something international? Or if you're doing something more local, you know, where's parking? What are the farthest sort of places people will drive from? Like we had an event in Northern California, someone drove from Montana. So, it was a long drive, but she really wanted to be there. And so she made the drive. So just paying attention to those type of research things can be really great. In addition, you can research your ideal attendee, who they are, where they might be hanging out, maybe influencers, bloggers, people that you can reach out to who can help you share the event. So research, again, not limited to this list or the things that I've discussed, but really an amazing place to come back to whenever you have any form of fear or any kind of obstacle or mental block. Research will always squash those. I always say that. I love doing research because of that. All right, so let's get into T. T is testing. And testing is sort of the next step beyond a survey or an interview and really getting information in front of your potential attendees or their tribes or communities or groups of people who are sort of associated that would be interested and testing things. And not only just testing, because I often say the testing process, people think it's like, oh, I'm just seeing if it works. It's like you're seeing if it works while you're trying to make it work. So if you've ever heard of A/B testing, you're testing while the site is live. You're showing version A to some people and the version B to some people and seeing who clicks. And then if they all click on B, you're switching everything to B. But you're really doing a live test. And I say this because I don't want any of you to get stuck in the research process and not actually do, and not actually take that step into realityville, into making this an actual real life thing. And so this is a fun space for you to test copy. So the words, the text that you choose, again, that you've hopefully extracted from the survey, from interviews, from any other research you've done, testing visuals, images. One of my favorite ways to test is using a Facebook ads function, and not to actually run a Facebook ad, but just run a really sort of 2 or 3, maybe 4 different ads and test some copy and test some photos. And you can spend like $5 and just see what visuals people respond to. So which images they're like, love, and which copy works. And it's interesting, every time I do these type of Facebook tests, I get like a resounding yes to one picture. And, I rarely will have a tie. And if we have a tie, we realize, oh, these 2 images were just really similar, or these 2 pieces of copy are both great and we can use both. So using this kind of Facebook tests are great. Also, just any kind of social media access or influence you have, testing stuff, seeing if stuff gets more likes or more shares can be really powerful. So just like we talked about an interest page in research, you can create an actual splash page. And if you're not familiar with what a splash page is where you start to share details, specifics of the event. So maybe a date, maybe an actual destination, where they're going to sleep or where the event's going to be held, and the type of people that are going to come. So almost sharing that ideal attendee description, the types of results and benefits that they can expect. And then they start to be really pulled into, and a splash page is a little more simple, less detailed. And then when I say sales page, I'm often talking about sort of the standard internet marketing long form sales page where you can go really in depth. And the reason long form sales pages exist is because there are different kinds of buyers. And we mentioned this a little bit in the last training call, but some people are really detail oriented and much more analytical and want to read all the details and want to feel really taken care of. And this is your first opportunity to really take care of the people who attend. And then there are people like me who buy really fast. And, maybe I watch a video, but I get a full body yes, and I'm a yes, I click the buy button. So you want to make sure in the test phase, you have a buy button or you have a deposit button available, because there are going to be people who are like, yes, this is what I've been desperately looking for. And you want to capture them. And you also want to make sure you have a space again for just like the interest page, but for you to capture their email so you can cultivate, you can nurture the lead. Because somebody might be like, I'm not sure, but this is really cool. I want to keep in touch. Maybe I'm still deciding. Maybe I have to figure out the dates. Maybe I have to get time off work. Maybe I have to figure out if I can afford this, but you want to be able to capture them so you can nurture that lead. So this is also a part of the test phase. On the Facebook group, we're going to share some examples of splash pages and maybe some sales pages, so you guys can take a look at those. Also in the Facebook group is a great place to test, right? Hey guys, this is some copy we wrote. Here's some visuals we have for the venue or that really inspired me from a stock folder. Do you guys like them? And the thing to tell you about the test section is really it's your springboard or your I don't know what you would say. It's almost like this jump start space, this really powerful push into your launch. And when you've done dirt, you've gotten dirty, and you've decided, you've created all your ideas, you've done the research, and you've tested, when you go into launch mode, you are so much more in ease and flow because you've got everything you need. You may need to fill in a gap here or there, but you've done a lot of the dirty work and you've gotten dirty and you can really fill in the launch plan relatively easily. So what I would say to you is it's really so much more simple to really dig into these 4 steps and flesh them out and do all the details of it. So once you get into launch mode, you basically are already in launch mode when you finish testing. It's super simple. So when we talk about launch mode, this is where we get into the super dirtiness. But what I really wanted to share on this training today was these first 4 steps. And when I say dirt, I usually mean D-I-R-T, but I wanted to add a Y because we said we were going to get dirty. So the Y is really yes. And the yes I want you to say to yourself is yes to opportunities, yes to challenges, yes to growth, yes to all those pieces that are for you, and yes to creating all those pieces for all of your attendees. Yes to being outside of your comfort zone. I had a call with somebody hosting a yoga retreat yesterday, and I was talking to her about being really bold and not kind of that like zero fucks, not caring what other people think, but really knowing that this is kind of your moral obligation to share what you've created. Especially when people in the Facebook group are talking about creating really powerful retreats for people who are abused or suffer from depression. These people are desperate for what you're creating, and so you're doing them a huge disservice to not share and not to make sure that this opportunity of this event doesn't get right in front of them. So really stop being polite and hoping people know or assuming that your friends and connections know that you're hosting this. Be bold and make sure you get on the phone with each and every single one of them and you tell them. And you tell them and you make sure you turn them into an unpaid Salesforce person. Really, all of our friends and family, they love us and they love what we're up to. And if we teach them and guide them into really knowing exactly what it is that we're selling, who the exact person is that we're selling it to, and how they can make a referral or share maybe that splash page or that sales page with people, they can help you make a sale. They can help connect people to this solution, to this pleasurable, amazing experience for getting the results that they want. And so you have to say yes to being bold, being courageous, and really being the bravest version of yourself, and outside of your comfort zone. So even if you're not normally a super outgoing or super overt person who emails people or calls them or invites them to coffee or gets on Skype with them, this is your opportunity to step into that piece of your greatness because you owe it to the people who are going to attend. Because if they don't find you, whose really mistake that was? It was yours. And I had this happen to me. We had one of our lowest attended retreats, and it was really painful for me because I knew of how many people could have benefited and how we had space for them. And I was in the workshops, and there were tears and there were breakthroughs and there were more people who could have been there. And it just broke my heart. So saying yes to this process, saying yes to really reaching out to all of your connections and your networks. This includes people you went to high school with, people you went to college with, friends of your family, friends of aunts and uncles and cousins, and your old coworkers, anybody you've ever been connected to. Facebook, social media is so easy to find these people again, but make sure they know what you're up to. Don't hide in the back with this. People are desperate to know what you're up to. And I'm sure they have friends, family, colleagues who would be perfect, ideal attendees. And it's just a matter of making these people really understand what your event's about, and so they can share it with their networks and their circles. Also, the yes process is saying yes to sales conversations, which I know for so many people activates so many things. They're like, I hate selling myself. I hate selling my experience. Or what if I suck at sales conversations? And this is when you have to recommit and decide that you're going to host this amazing sold out event and however many people that you want to attend, because the sales part is the bridge. It's the most important part after the marketing. You have to get them to say yes. You have to get them to be in that know, like, and trust place where they can make the investment, both in you, in the experience, and in themselves. And so you really have to say yes to any version of getting outside of your comfort zone than sales conversations are. And you're going to have to say how much it costs. And so one of my number one tips for sales conversations is practice, practice, practice. That's another amazing opportunity you have in our Facebook group, is to connect with other people and practice a sales conversation, and practice how you talk about the event, and practice how they interpret it. Make sure it's coming across clearly and concisely. You don't want to be on the phone for 4 hours. This is one other thing to master with sales conversations. We actually have a script that we're going to be using in a Retreat Elite, and we used it at Blue Osa Yoga Retreat and Spa, one of my very first travel clients. And I mean, they were having like call after call. It wasn't a 4-hour call, but it was multiple calls before people made a decision. And once we sort of created a script and got practice and really got super concise and specific and knew how to talk about the retreat in really the very best way, I mean, the sales conversion rates were like through the roof. I mean, whereas before maybe they would close 1 in 50, they started closing like at 70, 80%, which is super high. I mean, most of them they were closing, and people who they weren't closing were like either people who were trying to figure out money or those kind of logistics, but these were people who still really wanted to come. So part of the sales conversation is really you enrolling someone in the vision and inviting them to say yes to coming, and saying yes to all of these parts, saying yes to their opportunity and to their challenges and to their growth, and saying yes to getting outside their comfort zone, and saying yes to being bold and making a statement for their greatness and attending this event, and not just waiting for it to maybe magically happen in their life, but really being proactive and stepping into an experience that they know is really perfect for them. So these are all the things you're going to say yes to. I'm sure there's so many more. Maybe you're going to say yes to yourself. Maybe you're going to say yes to more financial abundance. Maybe you're going to say yes to travel. Maybe you're going to say yes to being a leader and standing in front of a group of people and speaking or sharing your truth or sharing your story or sharing whatever type of skills you have that you really desperately want to share. Maybe you're going to be saying yes to being seen. And this is a huge thing, I think, for a lot of leaders. We don't realize how much of ourselves are seen when we host an event. We really don't realize how much we are a role model and how we have so much opportunity to share. And I always say within this, you're not meant to be put on a pedestal, but you're really meant to be there as a friend, someone to stand beside them, and be their biggest cheerleader, and to be a guide, and also to learn from them. So saying yes to learning from others and learning from your attendees and learning from this experience, in whatever way is meant to happen. Really, if you need to be stretched and expanded and have your breakdowns and have your breakthroughs, saying yes to it all, good, bad, really just knowing it's all going to benefit you in the long run, and it's all worth it always. So that is the why. So what we're going to talk about right now is I want to talk about an example of someone who used getting dirty to really knock it out of the park. And I'm going to go back to Blue Osa. So blueosa.com, you can check them out. Beautiful yoga retreat in Costa Rica, down in the Osa Peninsula, almost down to Panama. Really remote, off the grid, gorgeous destination. And they were struggling. They were, when I first met them, to get people to come to their yoga teacher trainings, for teachers to book yoga retreats there. And so we really broke it down, and we were like, how can we get dirty? And we followed these exact steps to turn their yoga teacher training program that was actually struggling a lot into turning it into a 2 times a year thing where they basically sold out every time. And a lot of it had to do with those 2 steps of research and testing. We researched and tested for months, and we hit this breaking point where we really understood that social proof, so using video and using testimonials and using referrals, was really the secret sauce to getting these sold out results. And this is the fun part. This is the really exciting part of hosting an event, is finding your secret sauce. Because once you find it, and you usually find it in your first experience, and you might find it later in the game, but you can easily use it to replicate year after year. And that's what Blue Osa has done. And their yoga teacher training program, it's a 30-day program. They're inviting people to stay at the resort for 30 days and do this really amazing, hundreds of hour yoga teacher training, and go on this personal growth journey, and just are having amazing results because they went in and they got dirty and they followed these steps. Another example that they actually had was, we were trying to get yoga teacher bookings. So we were trying to get people to book retreats. And, as all of you guys are right now, maybe looking for venues, it's a big market. It's highly competitive, and there's usually something specific, something special that people are looking for. And so we really dug into the ideas section, and we were really focusing on the essence of the experience of being at Blue Osa, and how we could share it both visually, with text, and in as many ways as possible, and really had such a fun time taking our ideas and testing them and getting them out there and seeing what worked, and really getting amazing results. And now they're booked out, a year and a half, sometimes 2 years in advance, because so many people got the vibe, got the essence of their vision and their experience, and they said yes. And so really, that's what I'm going to invite you guys to, is to find that essence, not only that secret sauce, but find that essence and how you can communicate it, how you can have it embodied in everything you share, everything you test, everything you research, and everything you really put out there and say yes to. So the next steps after getting dirty, right? I know that's what a lot of you are probably thinking about. Mind you, what I'll remind you is that you're going to need to slow down, slow your roll, and you're going to really want to focus on getting dirty in the next week or 2, and really fleshing out these steps as much as possible, and really doing them to the fullest extent of the way I've described them, and even beyond things I've said. And hopefully there'll be more ideas and more things shared in the Facebook group that will inspire you. But after you get dirty, what's next? So what we're actually going to be doing, because of so much interest in this, because of the amazing, amazing experiences that I'm finding out about because of these awesome trainings that we've been doing, is I've created a 45-day, probably about a month and a half, immersion intensive. I'm calling it an experience mind, much like a mastermind, but really what we're doing is we are weaving and melding and creating amazing transformational experiences. And we're supporting one another with my team of the experience experts to help you market and launch this in a really big way. So we have a group of people with sold out retreats. So if you're somebody who is rearing to go, ready, just being like, Lynan, oh my gosh, after getting dirty, I'm ready. I'm ready to deep dive. I'm ready to go in and get this done. And I'm ready to do it now. If for the month of July, you want to deep dive into this, we're going to go into some more details. And so for July, these are the next few steps. And these are also things that you guys can do. So write these steps down for yourself. We're going to go into all of the details of planning. And this is all the specifics, right? For who, how, where, when, length of time, and really fleshing it out and really going deeper into the vision and daily seeing the event and then creating a budget. And this is sort of the fun stuff for me. I love creating a budget, going into the financials of it, and really talking in about the pricing and how you then take it into the sales section. So really starting sales in a very serious way, how to do a pre-sale, how to have really powerful sales conversations. So we'll be creating custom scripts. And again, you can do this yourself. If this is more, you're a DIY person, create your own sales script, create your own pre-sale from a lot of the stuff you've heard from the trainings. This is just for the accountability. This is just for the specific tools, for the specific guidance, and for really plugging into a powerful community that's going to keep you uplifted. And this is, I can't emphasize this enough. There's nothing wrong with doing things yourself, but what I've found time and time again is that when you do things as a group and you make an investment and you make a commitment, you really, really, really make it happen much, much, much faster than you ever would before. And you really avoid all those pitfalls and detours that often happen when you're trying to do things or figure things out on your own. And you will have the Facebook group. The Facebook group is free and totally open to everybody, but we're really going to have this small group to deep dive, get these amazing events out there and launched in a really big way and super duper sold out. The next steps, obviously, are the launch marketing. And launch marketing is, I wish I could do a free training on that, but it's so customized, it's so tailor-made, it's so bespoke. And it's probably why I love launch marketing, because it really is like this perfectly fitted garment to your event, to you, to your ideal customer. And what I'll say is ideal launch marketing at minimum 3 months out from an event, especially if you're going to ask people to be on a plane or go internationally, then you're really wanting to go 6 months out. So 3 to 6 months ideally out for your launch marketing plan. What we often say is there are little tiny inspirational points that get people to say yes or get them into a sales conversation. And we mentioned some of them, holding workshops or day retreats or creating some form of a tour beforehand. These are the type of things we're going to flesh out in the Retreat Elite group and really find the best fit for your attendees. So, but that next step really has to do with a commitment, because when you're in launch marketing, this becomes your full-time job. And so if you have another business or another source of income at the same time, another piece of our custom plan will really be creating that balance. And so I can't emphasize this to you guys enough, finding the balance, finding a flow between your launch and whatever else you have to going on in your life, especially if it's supporting you financially. This is so, 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 so important. Also during launch marketing, we're really digging into how to utilize your connections and your network and how to make them work for you. Really teaching your friends and family, et cetera, and your circles to be your unpaid sales force. And there's so many tools out there. But what I would invite you to do is be creative if you're going to DIY it. And if you're going to join us in Retreat Elite, we're going to have some very specific templates and things on a checklist for you to do to make sure that everybody knows what you're up to. And they're on your team and they're supporting you and they're helping you get those optimal sold out results that you really dream of. Additionally, the next step I call sort of the curation. and creation piece. And this is the fun part, and this is the part some of us jump into. This is the part I jumped into when I hosted my first retreat. But it's the facilitation. It's, what are the workshops? It's what are all the specifics? And sometimes we get really fixated on what the actual retreat looks like. And I found that actually happened in our previous trainings. People were really worried about having a transformational experience and all of that. And what I often tell people to do is just relax and surrender and trust, because all of that will happen. I can guarantee it. And you'll know exactly what your people need. And you'll know before, and you'll know during, and you'll know after. But what we'll do in Retreat Elite is really dig into some ideal facilitation. We'll be creating custom exercises and workshops. We'll be talking about how to create a welcome packet to prep your people before they come. Also, any kind of specifics about partnering people, either for sleeping arrangements or for activities. We're also going to dig into list building and really sort of press networking. And if you have any resources in your bag of tricks for list building, building your list, getting more people to, again, give you that email so you capture them as a lead and you can nurture them and make them a potential attendee, or have them share with their friends or their networks. Please utilize those. We will be going into so many specific ones, again, creating customized, bespoke ones for different types of experiences and different needs. Sometimes when you're at a certain place before the retreat, whether it's like 2 months out or 4 months out or even like a month out, there's certain kinds of ways that you can list build, you can network, that you can outreach, that'll help you fill spots. And we'll dig into all of those. But as you plan your first event, you're going to feel into these. Make sure you document the process. This is something that's so near and dear to my heart. But as you're doing it, don't throw out the experience. Really, every lesson you learn, write it down. This takes us back to what I mentioned at the beginning of really creating a formula that you can replicate again and again and again. And so really digging into how you did it, what worked, what didn't, what can you improve upon. And so we'll be doing a lot of that in Retreat Elite, also talking about social PR and maybe ways to get press or to get featured in podcasts and blogs and some other places. Also how to use Facebook ads or Google ads to get your event out there in a bigger way. Again, that's paid advertising. So that's another step into the deep end. But again, part of your moral obligation to get it out there, get it in front of people, and really create consistency and persistence. I think those are the 2 words I can give you for the process of launching and selling, is really being persistent, constantly on top of it, telling people, making sure they know all the details, making sure the potential attendee, is followed up with, but also that you're being consistent. And that really creates an air of reliability and strength and trust for people in you over the long term. And then, additionally, for the last few weeks of Retreat Elite, and also what you have access to in the Facebook group right now for free, and I don't want you to waste it or discount it, because having support, having access to people who've implemented before, people really supporting your solution-oriented thinking is priceless. And we'll be doing a lot of this in Retreat Elite, really digging into specific Q&A and support for people's specific needs, helping and supporting with implementation. We have a lot of people trained to do a lot of these tasks. And so if you're somebody who doesn't want to learn it but wants to sort of delegate it, we have that also support on actual doing the implementation yourself. And then also, just being in that mindset of figure it out. And when you're hosting specifically your first retreat, but especially if you're maybe challenging yourself and going from like a day retreat into a 3-day weekend or a 7-day event, or going international, going to a different destination where people have to fly or drive in, You really have to be super open-minded and super flexible and super adaptable to all the different things that are going to show up. And I actually love to tell this story. I mentioned it on the last call, but we actually consistently, except for one of my retreats, have always had some form of a car accident. And it's so crazy because it comes in all different formats, but every single time it's happened. And we've had to be super flexible and super supportive of one another and just making sure that the pieces don't unravel. And, you know, this is part of being a human being. This is part of being an entrepreneur. This is part of being someone who's committed to growth and transformation, but it's really being ready, you know, being prepared for anything. And, you know, and handling it with grace and ease and not freaking out, not having complete meltdowns or losing it. Because when you're hosting an event, it's so important to hold your composure and know that you're holding the container. And so if you lose it, really everyone else has the potential to lose it. So really teaching that skill, practicing that skill all along the way when maybe things don't go according to plan or the way you would prefer, really being adaptable and flexible and really getting excited about even those opportunities for you to grow and expand. And I think, you know, the other things to focus in on are how can you deliver your promise? And whatever your promise is going to be from the very beginning, from that idea, from that first creation point, you know, how can I deliver that? How can I deliver that in my pricing, in my value that I'm demonstrating? How can I create that in my venue, in the length of time I'm spending with my people? You know, how am I, you know, delivering my promise by who I'm attracting? Because really part of what you're selling with a retreat is a group of like-minded people, people that are going to both support, trigger, transform that person's experience. And any type of retreat that you're hosting, you're curating the group and you're hopefully doing some form of interview process. Not everyone is going to be a perfect fit and attend, but ideally you're choosing epic people that are actually going to help you deliver on the promise and help you really create even more transformation for these people. And then just to know the results and benefits that you offer and being able to weave that into the curation of your experience, weave those results and benefits into your marketing, into your launch sequence, because that's really what sells it. What you are delivering at the very end, on that very last day, or maybe when they get home after the event and they say, wow, this happened, this happened, this happened. Or even a month or two later after the event, when they're feeling the results soak in and integrate into their life, into their being, these are the things that you're going to sell from the beginning. These are the things that you want to research and test. You want to get dirty and so you know exactly what you're promising and what you're really hoping to deliver in the way of results and benefits. And then how you're going to talk about it in the sales conversation, how you're going to talk about it in your outreach, how you're going to talk about it in pretty much everything that you do between now and your event. So it's really that commitment. Again, the whole thing is commitment. The whole thing is a decision, but really committing to figuring it out and really deep diving into all of the details and getting dirty, you know, deciding, creating that mindset, going into your vision and your ideas and letting them branch out and getting as detailed and as grounded and as specific as possible, doing the research, really getting so specific, testing that research, making sure you know what works and what's real and what's validated, and then saying yes to everything that happens afterward and really deep diving into a massive, epic launch sequence. I really wanted today to show you guys what you needed to do first, and then what you needed to do next, and what you needed to do next, and what you needed to do next. And that really takes the guessing process out of this. So much of what I hear from people is, I just don't know what to do, or I'm afraid I don't know what to do. And it's a formula. It's a system. It's not hard. And again, it's adaptable and it's going to need to be customized for each one of you. But for each of you, if you listen to this call, if you took great notes, if you know how to get dirty, even if you're going to DIY the detailed part, you can do this. You can do this by following the specific formula. And I really invite each and every single one of you, hop over to the Facebook group, share any of your breakthroughs from tonight, anything, any ideas, any visions, anything, decisions you're making, any commitments you're making to yourself or your event, any specific research that you're going to say you're going to do, and we can hold you accountable and keep you in integrity, or any type of testing that you're doing and you want to share with the community and actually get our input, get our feedback, is available. And share when you're saying yes to those opportunities and when you're saying yes to the challenges, and get that celebration from each of us, and let us celebrate you and let us celebrate what you're creating. If you want to know more about Retreat Elite, we have a sales page, but it is also going to be interview only. So if you are interested in joining us for the month of July and some of August to really deep dive into creating your epic launch plan, again, a formula that you can use again and again, so you can hopefully host many, many, many awesome retreats, please send me an email, lynan@theexperienceexperts.com. You can also feel free to private message me on Facebook if that's easier for you. We will have the sales page over there as well. We have about 50% of the spots claimed, so we're hoping to have 10 to 15 people. No more than that. I don't want to have a big group. I want to have it as intimate as possible. And I really want to have this group of Retreat Elites members who really are creating powerful, transformational, highly successful, and profitable retreats in the personal growth, fitness, nutrition, travel, experience field. So if that is you, I want to connect with you. I want to connect with you next week. So let's set up time to talk. Let's set up time for me to hear about your vision, to hear about what you would like to do in July, what you would like to do with the Retreat Elite group, and how I can help you, how I can support you, how the experience experts can really hold you accountable in our experience mind to deep dive. The way the program is going to work, just real quick, it's an intensive, so it's on fast forward. It's going to be deep diving. We're going to have a training every week. We're going to have a Q&A support call every week. We will also have tons of templates, scripts, anything and everything you can need for planning everything out. We're going to be holding you accountable. So after we have a training, we're going to actually kind of ask you for your homework, like teachers, and say, hey, what have you done? Can we look it over? Can we give you some feedback? And so it's going to have a lot of accountability, a lot more than most programs out there, because we really want people who are ready to say a huge hell yes to their experience and deliver a powerful experience and get those sold out results. So whatever your dream is, if it's 6 people or 25 people, where we're going to really help you make that happen. Just for some people in the chat who had some questions, where is the meditation link? The meditation link should have been sent to you if you opted in on the site. So if you didn't opt in on the site, what I'm going to invite you to do is to go to theexperienceexperts.com/free-training and make sure you put in your email there. You can get access to the meditation, the release and attraction meditation there, and let me know what you think. It's a new meditation. I'm really proud of it, and I hope you love it. We are just under the 90-minute mark. I'm going to open up the chat for any questions. We have a handful of you guys who stuck in for the whole, and I'm so proud of you guys. Thank you so much. I just want to honor you guys and say hell yeah for showing up, for listening to this whole call, hopefully taking a ton of notes that you're going to start implementing right now. And I hope you're going to get dirty right now with me, with D, and decide and commit and say, I am hosting this epic event by this date for this many people, and really make that commitment to yourself right now on this call. So I'm just going to take a deep breath. I don't want anybody to feel overwhelmed. I hope you guys really enjoyed this. I hope it's helping organize your thoughts, Organize your steps. Yes, I love it. Yes, this is useful for starting to organize my ideas. I love it. And that's the first step. The first step is organizing your ideas, getting dirty. That's the first steps. And if you want to deep dive, if you want to go deeper and join us in Retreat Elite, please let me know. Please contact me. We will have the sales page in the Facebook group. If you're not in the Facebook group, you should definitely join. There's some great conversations in there, people sharing epic, epic ideas. I'm so inspired every day from the comments. They've just been really, really, really helpful. And I'm grateful to each of you for sharing and being seen and being transparent and sharing your visions, because that's the greatest way to get feedback. I mean, this group is highly curated. There's only about 50 people and everyone in there wants to be there. So anything you share, you'll get feedback on. Oh, I love it. We got another comment. Love the process and the steps. Headed over to the Facebook group now. Great. Love it. Well, thank you guys for joining. If there's anybody you know who could benefit from this recording, please feel free to share with them. Ideally have them go over to the page and put in their email so I can nurture them as a lead and make sure they stay connected. If there's anybody you want to add to the Facebook group that you think has a beautiful transformational event inside of their heart that needs to come out, yes, share it. Please share it. I would love it. Add them to the Facebook, share the recording, really get people engaged. And just so you guys know, part of my vision and my passion is really to have people connected, and not just people who are like floating out on their own, receiving the information, but doing it all on their own. For me, community and tribe and being connected and being engaged and being woven together is really how we succeed. So as much as anyone you share this with, you can get them plugged in, maybe even do an introduction, make sure, hey, Lynan, this is so-and-so. I would love to know who they are. And so I can hold them specifically accountable and start to see their vision and get to support their vision as well. Again, thank you guys so much for joining us. I hope you benefited. Make sure you get access to that meditation and start using it. Let me know what you think. And maybe listen back to this recording. The recording will be made available tomorrow in 24 hours. So it'll come right to your email box if you signed up on the list. And if you have any questions, comments, input, more information that maybe you have inside of your knowledge bank, anything you have, pop it over to the Facebook group. Anything that you have could really benefit others. So I really invite you to share. And don't be afraid to ask questions. There's no stupid or dumb questions. Questions are really powerful. Questions have shaped most of my life. So if you have anything lingering in your mind, I don't understand this. What did this mean, Lynan? Can you elaborate on something? Maybe I didn't go into full detail on something and you really want more. Please feel free to share that in the Facebook group or even shoot me an email. But remember, if you share it in the Facebook group, the group really benefits. Everybody benefits. So, so much thanks, so much gratitude. Thank you guys for joining us. Thank you for the people who stuck around live and listened to the whole thing. Super duper grateful for you guys. And I can't wait to see each of your visions come to life, come to reality, get grounded. I hope each one of you shares when you get into the ideas phase. If you create a document or a mind map, make sure you share it. I would love to see it. I would love to be able to give you some input and some feedback. Have an amazing, beautiful day, no matter where you are in space or time listening to this. And know, just because you're listening, you are Retreat Elite. And if you would like to join us on a 1-month intensive and really deep dive in making your retreat dream a reality, and not only a reality, but a profitable, sold out one, please reach out to me. Check out this sales page and let us know if you'd like to join us for July for the deep dive. It is very affordable. We have a great affordable payment plan, and it's going to be a super intimate group. So you're going to get tons of one-on-one attention from me and my project manager and my whole team. Thanks so much, guys. I am hosting. Yes, I'm hosting everything in July. It's all me all the time. So it's a special 1-month intensive. And really, people are going to be getting basically the same attention that you would get in my one-on-ones, but in a small group. So really intimate group. Hopefully, the people who've already basically signed up are really inspiring, are really going to be an amazing group to be supportive around. So if you have any questions around that, just reach out to me. I'd love to tell you more, but we're really going to go into super depth of all the details, really getting into sales conversations, doing that specific launch marketing plan that's curated and customized and bespoke to your exact experience and attendees, and getting into the curation and creation of the specifics of your experience and the results and benefits, and really getting it all implemented and out there in a big way. Thanks so much, guys. Have a beautiful day. Share this, share in the group. I love you. I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.